who has commented on this book. Edward, you have this Will Willimon, who's evidently a bishop in the Methodist Church. You have Simon Kistemacher. A lot of us have his commentaries, who's a Reformed Theological Seminary professor. He's emeritus. That did not bring out the cemetery in me. Seminary. David Fleer from my undergraduate school out at Lipscomb. David Capes, who a lot of folks in here will know, from HBU. You've got Sarah Sumner out at Azusa Pacific. You've got Brian McLaren. You've got Chris Marshall, who's at Religious Studies. You've got a fellow some of us know named Jeff Shreve, pastor of First Baptist Church, Texarkana, Texas, with From His Heart Ministries. Jeff said, finally, there's a commentary on the often neglected book of Hebrews that combines meticulous scholarship with readability and practical understanding. This work is sure to be a favorite of preachers, teachers, and Bible students alike. And you've got Mennonites, you've got Church of Christ, you've got Presbyterian, you've got Episcopal, you've got Disciples of Christ. These are the ones that just jump out as me as I flip through here, page after page. In light of that, tell us, what are some of the more encouraging and surprising comments you've gotten, please?
Well, one of the most encouraging things was the rapidity and the generosity with which these people wrote back in with endorsements after they were willing to read through the proofs of the book. Two of the first ones who wrote back almost within the same day that I asked them were Bishop Will Willimon from the Methodist Church, who represents the Arminian side, and Simon Kistemacher from Reformed Seminary, who represents the Calvinist side. And they both said, we like it. And I said, great, you must be doing this thing right. And a number of years ago, I tried to have an article in Christianity Today, which was co-signed by me, who actually wrote it, a friend who's a Calvinist scholar and a friend who's an Arminian scholar. I sent the article to both of them. They both said, we like it, we'll sign off on it. Then the Arminian fellow learned that the Calvinist fellow had signed it, and he said, wait a minute, if he signed it, there must be something I missed. But these guys were all willing to be in the crowd with each other. As far as encouraging, again, the generosity, look at David Capes' endorsement sometime. I'm not going to read it because it would be immodest of me to read it.
Well, I'll read it for you. David Capes from Houston Baptist, which we should also, since we're teaching on Paul right now, David Capes has a wonderful book on Paul. David Capes says, despite the great cloud of unknowns swirling about the book of Hebrews, Edward Fudge cuts through the haze and discovers great encouragement for beleaguered believers today. Fudge, he doesn't know you like to be called Edward. Edward masterfully distills modern scholarly discussions into readable, elegant prose, putting top-shelf scholarship at eye level, making it available to all. Some consider Hebrews to be the most difficult and elusive book in the New Testament. Edward punctuates his commentary in all the right places, with boxes of print that lay out the various theological options to Hebrews' most puzzling passages. Saturated in covenant language and adept in biblical and non-biblical sources, Edward is uniquely qualified to help his readers appreciate the rhetoric, heed the warnings, and follow in the steps of the true saints.
Very nice man, wasn't he?
He's very accurate, too. He's a wonderful scholar. Okay, now let's get to the real questions. How'd you get the cover on this book?
Well, that's a fun story. The publisher, am I seeing what you're seeing?
The big screen there, okay, I'll keep active with you.
The publisher had his artist send me 2 sample covers, which you see on the screen. I didn't like either one of them, but I went on the internet and found a Greek Orthodox icon, which is, as you look at that, I suppose it's on your left. It's called He Analepsis, which is Greek for the Ascension. And it shows the apostles looking up into heaven and Jesus at the right hand of God. I said when I saw that, the top half of that picture, that icon, is exactly what I need for this book cover. So I tried to find it on the internet. I found what I thought was it and sent it to the publisher. He said, the problem is, I like it, he said, but the problem is this file that is not high resolution enough to use for printing, so we got to find another kind of file somewhere like that. So I searched and searched and searched. I think another slide. I spent about 20 hours, wrote to Greek Orthodox seminaries, Greek Orthodox churches, Greek Orthodox schools, or whatever I left out there. And I wrote to 8 iconographers who draw these kinds of pictures and said, here's this thing I found. Does anybody know where it came from or how I might find a printable copy of it that I could use in a book? They all wrote back, don't know, don't know, don't know. Then as we came into this year, one Saturday night, at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, I was still looking one more time, and I suddenly came to this site that sells artwork, and there this was for the first time ever. I immediately sent it to the publisher. I said, this is it, I think. At 10:30 Saturday night, he wrote me back and said, this is it. I've ordered it. I've sent it to our artist. He'll have a cover for you in 3 days. And we had to pay the grand sum for the use of this artwork of $5.